honored to share with you the Altenew's December 2025 release. As part of their guest designer for this month, I was thrilled to death to receive such a wondrous bunch of stamps, dies, stencils, embossing folders. The world is your oyster with this set, and there is so much to create. I hope by me sharing some of my cards today that it too will inspire you. First, I'm going to start with this beautiful feathered beauty. Now, if you have not had the opportunity to work with Altenew's keyhole designs with their dies, you are missing out. Let me tell you, it's not the first and will not be the last time I've used this set. I loved it. And as you will notice, the feathers on these birds pop off of the page. From the cardinal that you will see here, I also used the arched foliage die. And how I did that was a little bit different. I actually used the shimmer paste on that, and I cut it out and placed it on black cardstock. I used a little bit of the alcohol inks on top of the shimmer paste, which is why you kind of get that little metallic feel to that. And then I used the Birdhouse from the Whispers and Canopy. And you will see this set throughout my cards today. Absolutely loved it. Also, staying with the feathered beauty, I loved making a dove. And all I did was trim the head a little bit, just so it looked a little bit different than the cardinal. And in the background, I used the piped floral lace embossing folder. This embossing folder is so lovely, and it can add just a little touch for whatever it is that you are trying to create. In the center of each of these flowers, I had these very light yellow pearl dots that I added, and it kind of just gives it a little pop of color. On to the blue jay. And the blue jay was basically what I was initially inspired to do with this bird, but from there I went to the cardinal and then the dove. But can you look at the wings? It literally comes off of the page. Like, wow. You want to talk about a wow effect? That is a wow effect. Now on to the craft a flower, which is Narcissus. This bouquet of flowers literally takes up the whole A2 size of my card. I thought blue would be a gorgeous background against the yellow and the green, which is why I did that. And then in the center of the flowers, I used a little bit of the shimmering paste, the gold or bronze. I forget what the color was, but it kind of just gives it a subtle shine and almost kind of like a little bit of a glistening. I don't know. I'm glad I did it. And again, sometimes it's those little touches that make it so amazing. Also, in case you don't want to use the whole bouquet, you can use part of the bouquet as I did here. For the background, I had a little bit of excess of the gold shimmer paste on my glass mat, and I just smushed it up with my hammer mill cardstock, and it kind of almost looks marbled, and I kind of liked it. And then I did a little bit of peach for the center of my flowers and let it fade to the white, and there you go. Staying with the Narcissus flowers, I wanted to use that arch foliage embossing folder again. And I love this embossing folder, by the way, in case you cannot tell. But once again, I did the shimmer paste, and I did it in the light blue color, let it dry, embossed it. Then I did the alcohol ink markers over it. So you can kind of see the green is very shiny. And again, you get that metallic vibe. And then part of the narcissus flowers, I die cut them off and then glued them on top. And it kind of just gives it that little different vibe. Sometimes it's about extending your products too. And this, I feel like I definitely did. Now, the Build-A-Garden was the Hellebore Haven. I made several cards with this. Now, with this set, you have the stamp, you have the stencil, you have the die, and you have the embossing folder. So with this, I was inspired to watercolor. So that's what I did. the first set, I used purple and blues and masked it with the Altenew rectangle masking. And then for this, I did it a little bit differently. I used the embossing folder, which is underneath. I also stamped, watercolored, die cut, and then on the edge of my die cut, I used a very dark charcoal marker on the edge, and then I elevated it on top of the embossing folder. So it's very, very dimensional. Can't really tell in the photo, but in person, you can definitely see that it is very dimensional. In the center of the big flower, I used a little bit of foil, and how I adhered that was I had some liquid glue, I let it get tacky, and then I had some excess foil from a different project, and I laid it on and quickly peeled it up. So you can definitely see the shimmer and shine in real life. For the third one, again, it is watercolored. This time I chose shades of red and a little bit of blue for the tiny flowers. I die cut it out, and then I laid it on top of a shimmer paste that had already dried and adhered it to an A2 card. For this one, I'm all about maximizing my products, so I used the branching out stencil. I also used the flowers from the Feathered Beauty and the leaves from the Whispers in Canopy. Now, with the Whispers in Canopy, I made several cards with this set, as well as mixed it with the Nestled Whimsy. So some of them are a little mingled, but I'll try to explain it as I went. For the big stamp that is in the Whispers in Canopy, it was large, very large. So I did a little bit of surgery because I wanted to just show part of it with the one bird and the leaves. And I wanted to do it kind of like a night sky with a silhouette. I felt like I accomplished exactly what I was looking to achieve here. The little sparkles that you see, I was trying to kind of think of diamonds, like diamonds in the sky. But anyways, that was my thought process when I was creating this beauty. Also, with the Whispers in Canopy, there's the embossing folder and stencil, and you will see that with these beautiful purple flowers. And the green, it just pops next to that purple. I also used the Nestled Whimsy. I used the florals as well as the nest. And instead of the 2 eggs, I decided to add a third just to kind of make it a little bit more full and complete. And then I used the birdhouse from the Whispers in Canopy. And again, you're going to see these birdhouse throughout because I had so much fun creating them. You will actually see the texture on this birdhouse from the wooden press plate from Altenew. I was trying to give it a little bit of dimension, and what a better way to do it than to add wood, better press, right? Again, with the Whispers in Canopy, I used the birdhouse. Again, with the birdhouse, I did use the wooden press plate in that. I used the leaf part of the stamp that I had done a little bit of surgery on earlier and used Versamark ink just to kind of get a watermark. Again, like a tone on tone was kind of what I was going for. And then part of it I used with gold just to kind of give it a pop and a little bit of shine. I wanted it to be like autumn leaves, so I cut up some leaves from the Feathered Beauty and stuck those in there as well, just to make it look nice and full. With this, I used the branching out stencil and also the Nestled Whimsy, the nest from that with 2 of the eggs, and then the bird from the Whispers in Canopy. I had a lot of fun creating these birds that were in the Whispers in Canopy. I felt like they are very versatile. You could do several different colors, have them facing different ways. You could use them with the birdhouse or the nest, just kind of whatever it is that you are looking to do with them. Here is the branching out stencil again. I used the shimmer paste with this, and I used the brown color. You really can't see the shine, but I do know that it is there. And then once again, the nest from the Nestled Whimsy with 3 eggs. And again, I kind of felt like the 3 eggs kind of made it more complete, more full, which was what I was going for here. So here I have the arch foliage. I used the light blue shimmer paste, let it dry, put it through the embossing folder. I used the Altenew alcohol ink markers over the leaves. For the nest, I used that from the Nestled Whimsy. I used 4 eggs this time. I used a little bit of gray on them just to kind of make them pop a little bit. And then I used the bird from the Whispers and Canopy. Now with the leaves, what I did was I used a little bit of an X-Acto knife and cut some of the leaves so I could actually put the nest tucked into the leaves, just so it was like it was holding the nest securely, as well as the bird. To the left side of the bird, you'll see where it kind of overlaps. Just wanted to give it a little bit of dimension by using a little bit of a knife and cutting. Now on to the decorative lantern. This lantern was so adorable, and I definitely have several ideas for this lantern. I first used it with the Nestled Whimsy, the stamps of that, and I did the stamp set twice with different shades. So the blue and then the purple, and I used the pink for both. I also used it with the flowers from the Feathered Beauty. And then the small bird to the top right was from the Whispers and Canopy. Just to kind of give it a little bit of dimension and depth, which it definitely did. I love this lantern. I could totally see this for like a Christmas card. It would be adorable, absolutely adorable. And the piped floral lace embossing folder, I think, is one of my new favorites. I had so much fun using this. Obviously, the cards that I've shown previously, but also this one. And if you haven't guessed yet, I used the shimmer paste. I used the purple one. Let it dry, put it through the embossing folder, and I used my Altenew alcohol ink markers, and it is stunning. Oh my gosh. In person, the shimmer, the shine, it is fabulous. I love this card. This is probably my favorite that I did out of this release. In the center of the flowers, you can see a little bit of gold alcohol ink marker there, just to kind of give it a little bit of colored variance. But so much fun. And I also used it with just inking. This was a reverse embossing in the folder. Reverse embossing, or debossing, I guess is what you should say. And of course, with Altenew's inks are used in everything. Please take a moment, go through all of the creative work that these designers have worked so hard this month to provide you. Altenew is providing $300 in total prizes. So make sure that you thumbs up, leave a comment for your chance to win. Good luck, my friends. Until next time, happy crafting.